Guys, today we're gonna set up a brand new paint booth in our brand new shop. Oh! Welcome back to the channel. Over the course of the past, how long have we been in here, Sean? April 1st, April Fools, right? We moved in here and we April Fools ourselves?
Oh yeah, so we've only been here for 3 months?
3 months.
Wow.
That's pretty much all it has been. One of the biggest mistakes I would say that we've made, we didn't get the shop set up.
Yeah, it's still, like we set it up enough to basically work. It's always a cluster trying to find tools or parts or whatever, so you need to get the shop set up.
So I think that is what we're gonna try to do in this video. Obviously, we're doing this giveaway on this 1964 Chevrolet C10. If you guys have not got entered for a chance to win the thing, links in the description. It is going to need a little bit of body work, some paint and some body work. It needs a little bit of help. The bed has some dents in it. We have something outside to remedy that. One of the biggest things that I didn't like about the last shop was that I just had to paint everything inside the shop. So a couple of months ago, I actually made a video about this thing and we were supposed to get this thing set up. I bought a paint booth. So this is the dirty side of the shop, which is really not bad, which is crazy because this whole side of the shop is 3,000 square foot. It is bigger than the other shop was in general, and then now this is just our storage, which is crazy. We picked up this paint booth right here, 24 by 14 unit, 24 long, 14 wide. Got these extra exhaust fans, which I don't like those things. It has a big three-phase electric motor. It's got a 24-inch exhaust stack. One of the biggest things we couldn't figure out was where we were gonna put it. It took a lot of deliberation and, you know, kind of thinking about stuff, but I think we finally landed on a place where we're gonna put it, which is actually over here in this corner. I think that gives us enough room because the landlord is putting in another door right there. We already have the door right here. We'll just put it right here and we'll exhaust out that side of the building. That means that now we have to move all these things. We gotta move the GTR, we gotta move the Corvette, we gotta move the S14, we gotta move the Eco Beast Explorer. We have to move all of that paint booth stuff over to this corner and then start trying to assemble the puzzle that is the paint booth. That is what we're gonna be doing. Throw you guys over on the time lapse and we're just gonna start moving some cars and get some things done today, boys. We had a bunch of insulation over here that we got moved. Sean's gonna fire up the R32. Hey, did you forget that we bought this thing?
It's just sitting back here and collecting dust.
It really runs great though. I think I'm just gonna put a different turbo on it and just drive it. It'll be my new daily. Day 2 of ripping over here. Sean, what'd you do?
I moved some stuff.
So I got here a little bit late this morning. I was on the phone trying to get some parts ordered for the C10. Trying to figure out an electric motor for that thing because the one that we have is 3-phase. We need to get that figured out. Sean got all these engines moved. Check out these engines. We got an Evo 9 engine. We got a K24.
Junk.
We have a 2J.
Knocking.
We have a 4.8 liter freaking Maribera.
4.8 liter?
Well, that's not what we're talking about.
4.2 liter?
4.2 liter Maribera. We got another K series. We have another K series. We have SR Tranny. We have an SR right here. We got a lot of things essentially ready to rip eventually in something. So much potential. This area is pretty much cleared out other than these pallet racks. We're going to leave this set of racks right here all the way going that way. As you can see, we moved some of the hoods and stuff right there on the top. Now we just need to pull down these units and then we're gonna start sticking up the booth. So me and Sean moved a couple of these panels yesterday. It's kind of like, what is this? It's
Tetris, like a puzzle.
Or Legos.
Yeah, Legos.
No, or Lincoln Logs.
Erector set, buddy.
Erector set.
Erector set, yeah.
Okay. I have never set one of these up before. We're gonna do that today. trying to figure this thing out, and I think we're getting close. No instructions, no PDF manual, no nothing. Couldn't find anything on the internet. We just started kind of putting things together. So we assumed, okay, we have this back wall. Filters, these are the exhaust filters. They keep the paint from going out into the atmosphere, and it's just vapor. These goes right here. Sean found this piece. This thing essentially goes on the top. These guys bolt onto this guy right here on the side. This thing's kind of like an A-frame. It goes, so that's what we gotta do. So we got these unit, that unit, and then we just gotta build the sides and the roof. We got a whole bunch of stuff laid out over here, kind of organizing the panels. We have the ones with the lights right there on the ground. We have these things on the ground, which who knows where these go. We will eventually though. The back wall is up. We were confused for a minute, which I think we're just gonna be confused until it's done.
I think once the back wall's done, then it's just easy. It's just putting a bunch of sides and lights on it.
Also, if you guys didn't know, me and Sean have pretty much matched our t-shirts almost every day over the last week.
Without knowing.
Without even knowing it. We didn't even plan it. We didn't call each other in the morning.
We had the same shirt for the 4th of July.
Yep.
We had the same shirt yesterday, the graffiti one, the pink and purple, and today. And we haven't even known.
Oh, and then the day before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys want, we actually brought this. This is an old design. We had this back in, what was it, 2018? 2019? This is an old design. And it's one of my favorites because I just like it. It's clean. It's on the website right now if you guys want to.
I got compliments at Subway.
You want to get you one? Really?
Subway, yeah, somebody said that's a shirt.
If you guys want some compliments on your shirt, MotionAutoTV.com. All right, you ready? How do we do it?
Just go ahead.
Oh. So we're just going to continue putting this thing together. On this paint booth is about 10,000 bolts, and that's what we got to do. Is we just got to put them all in here. Like literally, this whole thing is just completely covered.
Bolts.
What do you think about these things? Oh, they're great. You like it?
A lot of bolts, buddy. My back hurts really bad.
Sean's got a whittle sunburn. Yeah, we're just trying to put this in together. Making a little bit of progress right here on the booth, and then kind of we decided it has this booth coating on it. What do you think about that?
Well, it's all messed up. It was
Well,
nice.
like, it peels off pretty easy. So we're gonna peel that off and then recoat it with something soon or shortly after we do our first paint job in here. So it'd be nice to get some of this booth coating. Seems kind of expensive. The crazy thing is I feel like this was the first coat of booth coating that they had on it, and it was in pretty good shape. I don't know how many cars they actually painted in this booth or not, but we gotta get this all off. Booth is starting to resemble something. And we've done about 1,000 bolts so far, and I think we have about 3,000 that we need to put in it. It's kind of ridiculous, the amount of bolts that are on here. What do you think about the bolts? Compared to spot welds or bolts? What do you think?
I'd rather do spot welds.
All right, so on the inside of this booth, there's this stuff they call booth coat. But look at that. So it pretty much just pops off. We started doing that, and then we realized that we would be here for probably another 2 days just cleaning off the panels. We're just gonna get off all the pieces that are like thick, coming off easily, like that. We're gonna try to probably get some more of this booth coating stuff, or maybe we'll try to just get some like cheap, like white latex paint.
It'll do the same thing.
Spray I mean, it'll pretty much do the same thing. It probably won't be as nice. But the issue was, like, some spots were really thick, and then the other spots over there were just thin and they don't come off. So it is
Bob's your uncle, buddy.
what it is, and Bob is your uncle. And he has a 1,000 horsepower Supra, I bet. All right guys, so Sean got this all wired in, tied in. Overall, they just come up, boxed together, tied together. And then basically this is like the little power distribution tied into some wires over there on the wall. I went ahead while he was getting all that stuff done, hooked up the motor to the, the fan, did all that stuff, adjusted all this stuff, put the belt on it. So that should be pretty much ready to go after we actually get this stuff wired in right there. So we need to figure out where we're getting the 220 volt. Where do we get it?
A junction box up there, probably.
So
there's 2 plugs on that wall over there. Basically within 15 feet of each other.
Yeah,
two
so
220 plugs.
220 volt plugs that actually go outside on the awning, because when they were stripping the cars here for the junkyard, they had these, it was kind of like a pallet rack, but it would lift up cars and they would strip the cars, and they had 2 of them out there. So that's where they stripped a lot of the cars, was outside. Right there in that junction block, we're just gonna come out of that with a piece of conduit, cruise down here, go over there, put in a switch. We're gonna do that tomorrow, but let's see if these lights work. John, you think the lights are gonna work?
They should.
Moment of truth.
Oh, buddy,
Ooh.
beautiful.
All right, so this is the booth with no lights. All right, flip her on. Oh yeah, that's not bad. We got 4 bulbs in each one of these things. We didn't realize it when we picked up the booth, but right here, this one was actually broken. So we put this one over here by this door, kind of towards the end, to where if it does end up sucking any dirt, it'll go right there, until we could actually get a replacement piece of glass for that. But overall,
Pretty bright, yeah. And once you, like you said, once it's white, it'll.
yeah, once all this stuff is, we take
Peeled
off
off
all
and
this
resprayed
stuff,
or whatever.
get off all the loose pieces, and then we recoat it with something else, it's gonna be a lot brighter in here, and it'll look a lot cleaner too, because right now it just looks like you're in like a bomb shelter, like an abandoned building or something. I just don't like the way it looks at all. So overall though, I'm freaking stoked. Finally have a booth, and we put the doors on too, so the doors.
Only thing is, if like getting cars in here might be a little bit of a.
Oh my goodness. So we still need to put the, you can see the wall is still kind of wobbly. We need to anchor everything down and kind of square it up. Not bad.
Yeah, we need to square it up, but
it's not really happy right now, but I mean, that's nice.
yeah.
Like in total, the booth, inside of the booth is 13 foot by 22.5 feet long. So,
Yeah, we should be able to squeak cars in there. Like, there's enough width there with the doors that. If anything, too, we can move the booth a little bit. If we have to angle it out, a foot or so, like it might be a little bit of a pain, but.
Once all this stuff right here is gone, it'll pretty much just be like a straight shot. Not a straight, but
yeah,
like we'll have to kind of cruise in there. This placement of the booth really preserved the rest of the shop space.
Exactly. So that way we have room to do stuff, store stuff, work on stuff, whatever we end up doing on this side. If we put a booth anywhere else, it kind of just ruins this whole side of the shop. It just kind of makes it so unorganized.
And this almost kind of matches
with the office.
With the office.
Yeah, exactly.
They're kind of over here. We could still put stuff kind of on top of the booth if we need
light
to.
stuff if we needed to store stuff up there, yeah.
Yeah, I think what we need to do now is we need to, well, obviously I know what we need to do. We need to hook up the wiring to the fan, and then we actually need to kind of bolt this thing down, get it kind of adjusted a little bit more, and then try to pull in a vehicle and see. I'm curious, we need to pull the Explorer in, because this is probably going to be soon-ish.
Yeah.
Get painted, but also
the whole thing
C10.
isn't getting painted though.
I'm gonna blend into the doors and stuff on at least one side. We're gonna catch up with you guys when we start working on the motor. Get that thing wired up, see if we get the fan working. All right guys, so it is the next day, and on the time lapse, you've seen our licensed electrician, Sean, right here.
That's me.
Got this thing all wired up. So to turn this thing on, this is essentially what we got.
It's just like an AC disconnector. We wanted a switch, obviously, instead of running back and forth for the breaker. Have something right here in the booth. It's kind of close to the light switch for the lights, so it's on the same wall at least. And come over here and you flip her on, and then should we flip her on?
Should we? Well, do you think it's actually gonna work? Oh, buddy. That is ripping. It's pretty loud. Just come over here. Turn that guy off, but buddy, we got a paint booth.
Yeah, it's done. It needs to be sealed up and then like leveled, and a few things need to be still bolted. But
yeah, so we still need to put a couple bolts in the ground, actually attach it to the ground. You can see right here, still kind of wiggly, but the concrete right here, there's kind of like an inch gap right around the edge.
The concrete's just not level, so it makes this thing kind of a pain.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of movement in the walls, but like not enough to make up for how messed
that
up the concrete.
stuff. So
did you show them the whole operation?
No. So Sean, he went ahead and got all this. So bent the tube, conduit, went up there 90 straight
There was
down.
already a junction box up there with actually, the guy who wired this place actually left an extra circuit in there that wasn't wired up to nothing. So that was really courteous.
No, that was really nice because we thought we were gonna have to buy a bunch of wire.
We basically had it ran down over to another junction box. So I basically just pulled it back through and ran it that way, and then you see that ground. Obviously I left that ground long because we're gonna have to tie into it to go and feed all the grounds over there because they were feeding that, but I ran them out here to feed the paint booth, but now we'll run a ground back to feed those two outlets over there. So.
Yep. That's pretty much it. We got a paint booth, boys. So next step of this thing is going to be painting the inside of it, officially bolting it down. So we can't close out this video yet until we actually get a car in there. I really wanna see what it's gonna look like and actually make sure that we could, get one in there. So I think one of the cars that we're gonna pull in there is gonna be one that potentially we should be working on here in the shop here very soon, which is R32. That one runs and drives and actually moves under its own power. So that might make sense to, actually get that thing in there. So. All right, guys, so this is 12 years, right?
In the making.
I mean,
you've been painting stuff for as long as I've known you, and you've never had a paint booth. You've always borrowed one or found one or painted it in the garage or painted it in the shop, and now you actually have a paint booth.
Basically how me and Sean met was in high school. He was painting his Integra in his garage at his house. I was painting my Datsun. I was doing body work and paint and like primer and a bunch of stuff on my Datsun 510, which was my grandma's car, at my dad's house when I was like 16 or 17 years old, and Sean was like 14, didn't even have his license yet. And he got this Integra. He was posting on Facebook. I was posting on Facebook.
And then we just started
talking.
Yeah,
and then
like on Facebook. And
one of the very first videos on the MotionAutoTV YouTube channel is from 2010, me painting that yellow Fox body Mustang.
At your dad's house in the garage.
At my dad's house.
Yeah.
And that was like my practice paint job because I didn't want to paint my Datsun.
Before you had practice, yeah.
Before I had practice.
Yeah.
So that was technically my first paint job. We painted that thing in like 3 days, which was crazy.
Yeah, we were up all night.
And you were over there. That was actually
like the first thing we worked on when I was over there.
Yep. Was that. Like Sean came over for the first time. He basically stayed there until like 2 in the morning, us painting it.
Yeah.
And then he never left.
Never left your dad's house after that, really.
Yep. Then I think I helped you a little bit with your car and like.
Yeah, you'd come over and we'd do stuff and like help each other.
And I had my Datsun over there. I painted countless cars. I probably painted 20 cars at my dad's house. I probably painted another 20 or 30 cars.
I painted like 5 or 6 at my mom's garage.
I painted the S14 11, 12 years ago in the middle of the other shop.
I remember that. I was there for some of that too. There's a picture of this thing in my truck in the shop, and that was pretty much it.
It's definitely been a long time coming. It's been one of those things that I have been wanting for a long freaking time, was my very own paint booth. Here she is,
The biggest
boys.
thing is just having the room to have one. It's not like, if you buy a new one, they're kind of expensive, but it's not like, pretty much anyone can buy one. It's just where you put it.
Yep. So. And that was one of the big things with moving to the new shop. Now that we have 5,000 square foot,
there's plenty of room.
Plenty of room.
Yeah, and this works out great because we have the office and we have the paint booth right here, and we still have all that space, so it works out great.
This is like almost the perfect size. It's a little bit on the smaller end. We're not gonna be painting like trucks and stuff like that in it, but for the most part, like, how easy is it gonna be to pull a car in here and just paint the engine bay, do all the door jams,
not have to
paint the whole car.
The whole shop, like, we'd spend an hour just, getting the shop ready to paint in, when here, pull the car in, you basically wet the floor, pull the car in, and go.
Clean this thing, flick on the booth. Obviously, we need a little bit more prep on the inside of this thing. We are gonna be removing the rest of this booth coat. We just didn't have a chance, and then repainting the whole inside of the booth so that it's completely white. The light bulbs are good. We need to put a glass on that one. We need to get the filters for the back, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then like clean up the floor. I don't know if we should epoxy the floor or just not mess with it.
You could.
It would make it brighter.
It would,
but it'll stick. Everything will stick.
Yeah.
And then we are going to be pulling in the C10, and that is gonna be actually the first thing that's gonna be getting paint in there. So we'll probably end up getting this thing in primer early next week, and then it should probably be painted by the end of the week. So we have a lot of work. We have a lot of things to do. If you guys haven't got entered for a chance to win the C10, head over to MotionAutoTV.com. Get yourself some entries for that thing. Link in the description. I appreciate everybody who has got entered so far. We have a lot of work left to do to that. We have a little bit more work to do on the booth, but Sean did a great job getting this thing all wired up. It's been hot. It was like 101 degrees today, and it's probably 120.
It's way hot. Like the temperature difference from down here and up there is huge.
Yep.
Huge.
We got a booth, boys. I'm stoked. Appreciate you guys watching. See you later.